Congress can't seem to tackle the nation's debt, but Democrats want to help college grads tackle theirs. Massachusetts Senator Liz Warren introducing a bill that would allow students to refinance their student loans. But Camille Foster says if the government really wants to help, it needs to get out of the student loan business altogether. Camille, of course, the co-host of The Independents on Fox Business. So, Camille, you think it's a bad idea, but why?
Well, I think it's a bad idea for the same reasons, for reasons Joe Biden at least has acknowledged, that when the government is subsidizing education, it has the predictable consequence of actually raising the incentive for the schools themselves to raise tuitions. The government is giving a direct transfer effectively to these various universities. And it's not like they're teaching new calculus. You don't get a better sort of biology when you pay another $10,000 a year for your education. You get the same stuff, and the schools tend to build things like new rec centers or get a new foosball table for the dorms. All of that is nice. I don't think you ought to have a Spartan, barren experience where you go to academic boot camp when you go to university.
See, I think you do. I think you should. I think you should. Without foosballs.
Maybe so. And if you get that, then you ought to pay a discount for it. And if you want all that extra stuff, then you ought to pay for it out of your pocket. You certainly shouldn't get a very valid point.
And you're quite right, Z. It almost goes hand in hand with the increase in aid and the increase in tuition.
Absolutely.
And colleges know, all right, well, they're giving them more to help pay for this. We're going to charge them more for this. But what happens if we cut back on the amount of lending? Do you really trust the institutions to cut back on their tuitions?
If they want to stay in business. Now, granted, there are plenty of state-run organizations, and it's interesting. It's not just the Pell Grants. It's not just the stuff we see. There are direct subsidies from the states as well. But if these schools want to stay in business, if people can't afford them, they won't go, and they will actually have to lower their prices and perhaps focus on academics as opposed to some of these other frivolous programs.
Or what about feeding the notion that everyone has to go to college?
Well, I think there are people pushing back against that now as well. Guys like Peter Thiel, who are looking for the best and the brightest, giving him $1 million in some cases and say, hey, go build something awesome. Go do something cool. Don't waste your time.
And now we discover, Camille, that over the course of a lifetime, the college grad is going to earn $800,000 more as a result. So that strikes me, whatever bumps along the way initially, we shouldn't have to subsidize them to pay it back.
If they make the right choices. I mean, the program that the administration is talking about curtailing at this point is one that actually incentivizes you to take out a big loan to go and work for the government for 10 years. I mean, that is not necessarily.
Well, if you work with the government, you never have to pay it back, right?
Yeah,
Eventually,
you get taken out in 10
years.
A lifetime, maybe.
Camille, good stuff.